Welcome to another edition of Rebel Wrap Up. I'm your host, Tim Towle. Of course, Coach Cheatham's with us. I'm sitting by the host, BKP, Jake West, Sports Director, Team FYN Sports. I'm already in trouble.
You said 3 times for me to get in here. You told me 3 times. I said I have to be invited, but it wasn't hard to get me in.
No.
And you just didn't want me yelling questions from over there.
Yeah, get in here.
You know what's going to happen.
You're in
Take
here.
it away, buddy.
A special night for the Rebels last Saturday night. The game was played on Saturday, not Friday. Fannin County got its first playoff victory since 1995 for the Rebels. 28-21 come-from-behind victory over Pace Academy. All three of us were there. It was a special night in Blue Ridge, Coach. I know the victory meant a lot to you and the program. Just talk about the game first off, Coach. Of course, we got down. It was a come-from-behind victory. Pace jumped on the board first. We were tied at halftime. Then they put 14 points up in the third quarter. We're down 21-7. The guys never gave up.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. The big takeaway from it is, I think I was talking to BKP today. I've talked to several media groups, but just the fact, the maturity of this team, and the fact that I don't think there was ever any doubt on our sideline. I was on the radio with somebody today, and I remember last year, Jackson Weeks telling me at a game when we were down, and it was like 2.5 minutes left. He said, "Coach, we're going to win the football game," and that's the kind of the mentality that we've grown over the past 3 years. Is that no matter what the scoreboard says, no matter where we're at, we feel like we've got a chance to be competitive and to win the football game. And BKP asked earlier today, how's the team? How's the attitude? How's everybody feeling? And this is a blue collar group that's really a real business-like. We get very emotional and excited on Friday, and we play that way. But during the week, it's all about preparation, so. As opposed to teams in the past where there's a lot of hype and I wouldn't say yelling, but motivational type stuff coming from me, we do a lot more chess match type stuff on Monday through Wednesday. And we were physical today, and we needed to be, but we spent 2 days really with the X's and O's part, trying to nail down exactly where we needed to be, things that we needed to do to be successful against this Heard County football team, who's extremely good. They're extremely big. Offensively, they can give us a lot of problems. Defensively, they can give us a lot of problems. So a lot of it's mental, but today was a lot of physical.
It was a very good game for the Rebels. Just some statistics right here. Luke Holloway had a big day, 358 total yards. 171 through the air and 187 rushing. Seth Reese had a very good game on the ground, 22 rushes, 151 yards. And Cahuta, Jalen also had a big day receiving. But talk about the offense and, talk about the emergence of Seth Reese the past few weeks.
Yeah, in order to talk about the offense, I think you got to talk a little bit about the defense at first. They kept us in the game.
Absolutely.
For the first 2 quarters. It could have been a lot worse. We couldn't switch the field. And Luke generally does a great job punting the football. We had 3 punts that averaged about 25 yards. And we couldn't switch the field, so it put our defense defending a short field for most of the first half. And we were lucky to get to come out at halftime exactly the way we did. But offensively, we knew they were athletic in the back end, and we knew that they were athletic and big up front, and we were going to have to find a way, and sometimes that takes a search. You have a couple of plans, you go in and you script your first 10 plays, and you formation people, and you see how they're going to line up, and a lot of times when you do that, you don't look like you're being successful from the stands. But what you're doing is you're learning your opponent on the fly, and then you start to put those pieces together from up top and from what you're getting from the kids, as we talked about today, and you start to put the puzzle together, and we understood that they were going to do whatever it took to take away the big ball in the pass game. Although we got high early, after that we felt like they were really going to sit back and cover us, double team us, bracket us. Jalen, they put two bodies on him at times. They put two bodies on Hyde at times. So on Kahutta, and it opened us up in the second half to run the football because they had to spread out a little bit to cover us. And then we were able to go fast, which is something they hadn't seen. And I think they got tired. I could tell they were having trouble lining up, and we were going. It wasn't anything fancy. We were running the same play, same thing right after the other. It was just the fact we were snapping it with about, as soon as they spotted the ball, we were snapping the football. We were trying to get the officials out of the way so that we could snap it, because they were trying to catch our breath.
And you can tell we were the more conditioned team Friday night. I think as the game went on, it just like you said, up tempo, but pace was really wearing down throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think that we do a good job of conditioning in practice. Our practices are pretty tempo-paced in our drill work. Our coaches do an outstanding job. When we're drilling, although we are working mentally, we are physically training also, training the body for the game, and that's a credit to them. I like to be short periods that are very fast in practice, and we're not going to linger in those periods. We're going to stay with that 10-minute frame, but in that 10 minutes, it's work, tempo.
Coach, let me ask you something here. You said something a minute ago, and I was on the sideline, and I thought that, I didn't ask you before the game, but I thought that I said, he's running a script, and the guys up top are paying attention. You're paying attention on the sideline, your staff. What I was most impressed with is those first couple times, that timeout, the information that was coming from up top to you guys, but the guys that were coming off the field was bringing back information also. So it was a three-part, and I said, this guy's running a script, and in about 10 or 12 plays, they're going to know which guy's pulling left, which guy is stepping back before he steps right. You guys were really doing a good job figuring that out, and that included the maturity of the team out there. All of you were figuring that out in that first quarter. Am I correct?
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, but that goes to that goes with Chris Thigpen, our offense coordinator, Alan Collis, and Noah O'Neill. And I'm involved with those scripts and things a lot. But Chris will script his first 15 or so, and he'll have the first script, the second script, the third script, and depending on a lot of times how you warm up and what you see as they warm up, and we scout pregame. I'm probably telling people things I shouldn't tell them, but we have scouts during pregame that are in the box that are scouting their people as they warm up, and we're looking to see what they're doing and who's tired and who's not and who's injured and who's not, what they're lined up in, what they're looking at, and so then we go back in, at 7, and we look at our scripts and say, okay, we think this, 17 is going to be here, 48 is going to be here. Well, they look like they've moved 32 into here, so maybe we ought to go with script 2. Try to get formations to our sideline, get on our hash, because we get a much better look at it. That's just a little intricacies of calling offensive plays. You get them close to you, get the defense close to you, so you can get a really good look. Got guys looking from the top. I usually stay at the back. Chris is kind of in the middle, and so we have two guys up top, and I'm looking from the back, and then Chris is in the middle calling the plays. And yeah, it's kind of it's an interesting little dance that goes through. I mean, the play's dead. Then you get first and 10. Then you get your personnel. Then you get hash, and then you call the play. So there's a lot of thing that goes into it.
Coach, we talked about the stuff that you guys are able to do well, which is adapt and kind of play your own game depending on how the ball is bouncing that day. Mm-hmm. How do you think you guys can do better coming out of the gate?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that just ask my mother. She'll tell you straight out. Chad, you're not very good in the first quarter.
That came straight from Mom.
Yeah,
Write that down.
And that and she's right. I think that this year has been pretty tough because there's not been so much routine. And, when you go from a 2-week layoff and then you go to playing on a Saturday and then you jump right back into Friday and then you're off another 2 weeks and then you jump back into a Saturday, or you traveling, things like that.
And you get snow days.
You get snow days. Yeah, we've had, I was talking to the paper, Georgia High School Daily, between COVID, hurricanes, and snow days. Now, we've had about everything you can have in a season. But one of the things is a lot of our penalties, if you watch offensively early, they're stupid penalties. There's no doubt about them. I mean, we have guys that are very aggressive, that are laying bodies out when they shouldn't be, when they should be pulling up, and I don't ever promote that at all. But also you don't want to take the fight and the fear out of them to turn loose and play. Obviously, I address the penalties, and we want to play inside the rules. But with Case and Owensby and Reese and those guys like that, they're going to do something crazy every now and then. They want to hit somebody, and you want to keep that fire and that tiger in them. And we've been slow out of the gate a couple of times, but it's not how you start always. It's mostly how you finish. So I've been proud of how we finished throughout the year.
Case and Owensby, you mentioned him. What a game he had. He had 12 tackles, had a big interception. They got a lot of momentum towards our way. I want to give Micah O'Neal had a big game, 9 tackles. Micah also got an offer today from another college. So
Micah also got his helmet ripped off.
Micah did. The referees did not call that. We're not.
I have the film on that. I have a close up on it. I'm just telling you, I got that clip.
But a very mature decision by Micah, who knew that we had more to go.
Yeah, we'll leave it alone. We'll leave it alone. But I got the clip on that if it's ever needed.
But you're right. Micah could have got really upset. He backed off. Hey, it's 4th down. We're about to get the football back to our offense and ice this game, and that's what we did. So you're right, though. That was a very smart decision by Micah. Me personally, I've been around Fannin County football a long time. That was the most memorable football game that I've been a part of and that I've seen in Blue Ridge. I think it was that special. I don't think I've ever heard the crowd roar as loud as it did when Luke went down the sidelines. I don't think the crowd was ever cheering as loud as they have after we won the game. It was special, and what I really think is special about this is this football team is bringing this town together during a time where it's 2020. There's not a lot of positives that are happening around Blue Ridge right now. But this football team is bringing our community together, and it's really something special.
It's a great team, Coach. I want to say this. I'm going to give a shout out because, there was 2 very good teams on the field.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to say this. I mean, Rebel fans out there being on the sideline for years and watching good football teams. Pace Academy is a good football team. Very good football team. And we talked about this last week. There was basically 2 1s on the field. Oh, and for anybody that thinks, well, you played a 4, and that's a very good football team. And one more thing I keep going back to this, but I have been on the sideline and just sense the air come out of the sideline. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just you could feel an up, and then all of a sudden the air come out. That didn't happen on your sideline. It didn't in the first half. And then when immediately they came out very early in that 3rd quarter and went up 2 touchdowns, that was when you could a lot of times feel the air come out of a sideline. It never happened for those guys. Mm-hmm. That I'm going to give you. I never seen one of them where the air came out of them that they weren't ready to go back in. Mm-hmm. And that's a testament to the entire staff and those young men.
Yeah, and I don't know how long we are to break, but it's all about building that excitement that we talked about 3 years ago, taking the job. Excitement, encouragement, praise, the ability to not drop your head, that we're going to snap it again, and that we're confident in the way that we prepare. And first I prepare, and then I have faith, and then we just play the game, and we try to keep it really businesslike. And this group's now next year it's probably going to be completely different, a different style of kid, not nearly as mature, not nearly as game mature. I mean, you got to remember this senior class has played in the playoffs in AAA, Calhoun, Cedar Grove, and they've played a lot of football games. Mm-hmm. Luke and Mike, and they're 33, 34 games in. I don't know how many, but that helps a lot.
No doubt.
With
I think she was giving us a.
All right, well, we will stick around. We'll go to commercial for part 2 of Rebel Wrap Up.
At Ingalls, we know that school is a little different this year, with virtual learning and working from home. But we have continued to donate to our Tools for Schools program, just like always. And all our participating schools will have those funds waiting for them when the bell rings this fall.
Okay, who can tell me the difference between molarity and molality?
In the meantime, Ingalls has everything you need to make this school year a little easier. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. Those everyday celebrations that bring a smile to our faces and joy to our hearts. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature, memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
Welcome back to Rebel Wrap Up. I'm your host, Tim Tao. I'd like to thank Circuit World for sponsoring the show tonight. You can catch this episode of Rebel Wrap Up as well as other episodes of Rebel Wrap Up live on demand at FYNTV.com. And be sure to check out Team FYN Sports on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. Team FYN Sports is very active on those. We're going to preview the Heard County Braves. Heard County is traveling to Blue Ridge Friday night at 7:30. Heard County's 8-4 on the year. Very, very good football team. They were the second team out of Region 5, 2A. They defeated South Atlanta, defeated Pepperell, defeated Manchester and Darlington. 2 losses right here to 4A schools in Cedartown and Central Carrollton. Lost to Temple in overtime. They beat a good Haralson County team and a good Bremen team. And then they lost their last regular season game against Callaway and then defeated Union County last week in the first round of the playoffs. So a very good football team. Heard County is an established program. Just 2 years ago in 2018, 3 years ago, the Braves won the state championship. So they've got some players on their team that have been in the big game. The atmosphere is not going to faze these guys. They're going to be excited to play, and they're led by head coach Tim Barron and a very good football team coach. So just talk about our opponent on Friday night, what we're going to see, and it should be a fun matchup.
I think the question I've been asked most this week is how, if I had it, I would be a millionaire. How's Heard County? At this point in time, there's 16 teams left. There's nobody bad.
No.
You're just not going to slip through round 1 and get to 16 without being a pretty good football team unless you just get an amazing draw. So they're very good, very well coached. Their offensive line, their defensive line are tremendously talented. They're big. They're strong. You can tell that they're a perennial GACA weightlifting competition squad. So they do a tremendous job up front. And then they're athletic in the back. They're athletic at receiver. They're athletic in the backfield. They like to run the ball downhill behind those big bodies. Play man coverage in the secondary because they can run. And so it's going to be a definite challenge. We're outweighed. There's no question on the offensive and defensive front. But we give folks a little bit different wrinkles. We're going to try not to block them one-on-one. We're going to try to create double teams and down block and reach and move bodies around. And then defensively, we can't sit in there in our regular 3-man 3-3 stack and let them get beads on us and move us. We got to move around a little bit, change our fronts, keep them guessing where we're going to be, and it's just going to turn into execution, great effort. It's going to be a great football game, and it's going to be really mental for all of us, especially myself and our coordinators, and then we've got to our kids have to be really smart and really prepared.
Conditioning coach, I always say that at this point in the season, when a team has to play 4 quarters, you get some games throughout the season. You don't. Your first team doesn't have to play 4 quarters. Mm-hmm. You're at the point now, just like last week. This team is playing 4 quarters Friday night, just like last week. And I say it's at this point where you see preseason conditioning. Mm-hmm. You see the conditioning going into the season, that these guys are ready and they have the endurance to play 4 quarters. What are you guys talking about this week about that? That hey guys, this is a 4-quarter game. It's like last week. You will play to the buzzer at the end of this thing.
Right, no doubt. Every game that we'll play from here on out is a 48-minute game, and as I said today at practice, there are no do-overs at this point. You can stop and practice and you can redo, and then during the season, even after a game that you didn't necessarily play, and maybe you lost that football game, you got the next week to hold on to. There's no do-overs in this game. if there's pain, if you feel like you're tired, if you feel there's nothing else. Everything you've got to lay it all out there if you have any type of pride or guts about you whatsoever. And you teach that starting in June, July, and August, and then you reap the benefits come December, which is amazing. In Fannin County, we're playing football in December. So our kids continue to do a great job in the weight room, and we continue to condition at practice. Our drill work is designed for that, like I said earlier. So when we go to individual work, we're moving, and the periods are short, but we're game speed, try to up tempo all the time. So it is important. I mean, that weight room separates a lot of people, which is just like them, prevents injuries, and so I think that's big. We're very fortunate right now that we're pretty healthy, and we've remained healthy through the year, and we got to continue that trend. Our bodies have been knock on wood, bodies being really conditioned to the pounding and to the cardio demands that it takes to play for 48 minutes.
Definitely excited about the game. 7:30 kickoff. It's going to be a good game, and like Coach has said, Heard County, a very established program. Coach Tim Barron is their coach. He's in his 23rd season at Heard County. He's won 163 games there. So they're a very good football program, and we need a big crowd. We need the crowd to be loud on third down. I want you to talk about the crowd though on Saturday night and how big of an impact it can have in the game. Because I believe it had an impact in the game.
It has a huge impact on any game. It has an impact on me.
Yeah.
In my energy and my excitement, but more than that, it has a gigantic impact on our kids. When you're playing in a stadium that's rocking and the music is loud and the lights are flashing and the people are on their feet, it's just kind of amazing to be in that moment and to get excited. I was thinking earlier, I'm getting older, BKP, and somebody asked me, I forget who it was that asked me, said, it was Chris Mathis, was talking about my energy on the sideline and things like that. How do you sustain that? And it's the crowd, man. It's the crowd. It's the players. Now I pay for it the next day. I pay for it for like 3 days. I'm still sore, still hurting. But I mean, when you get it, anything that you do in this life that you put your guts into and your heart and your soul and your mind, if you can't get excited about it and you can't have a lot of energy and you can't see these kids being successful and not just absolutely be overjoyed, I think you got to find. If it ever gets that way for me, I got to find something else to do.
Well, I know you keep pumped up, Coach, and don't take this wrong, okay? But I got to give the shout out to the Fannin County Mamas.
Oh yeah.
All right, because I'm going to tell you something. You went down 2 touchdowns. I'm on the sideline, and I know they could hear it to the 50-yard line. And I heard 2 Fannin County Mamas yell, "Play like you want this."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, boys, you need to play. It was awesome. The crowd.
One of us Coach Cheatham's mom.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. It was great. I'm not making laugh. I was like, all of a sudden, it was like you could hear it echo across that field. Play like you want this, boys. I was like, nothing like Fannin County Mamas coming out and letting them know. But the crowd was great. The home crowd was great.
Well, it's just amazing. Like any atmosphere. I mean, you go to the University of Georgia, you got 93,000 people that calling your name and cheering, and it's electric. I wish that people could experience coming out of that tunnel with those boys. It's you get my hair stands up. I get chills all over myself just thinking about when that helmet opens and you see that crowd for the first time, and man, just what an exciting time. And like I said, if it ever gets any less exciting or special for me, then that's probably time for me to go to Home Depot probably. But I don't see that happening anytime soon.
I don't either.
It's in me. That's all I know.
I don't either. What do you think about the entrance? Do you like the entrance Friday night?
I love the entrance, but she's giving the wrap up, so I want to say something. Coach, let me say this to you. I heard last week multiple times, and we're not being disrespectful, I've already said Pace Academy a good football team, but I think I heard several times last week that the head coach played for the New England Patriots. Well, our head coach played for the Fannin Rebels. This is the cards we've been dealt, and we're very happy with them, okay?
We're stuck.
How about that, Coach? You all right?
Yeah,
All
Chris
right.
Slade. Chris Slade.
He's a great guy. It was
wonderful
good.
guy.
But
He's a class act. Terrence Edwards from the University of Georgia was All-American there. Brother Robert, he also coaches. They were just a class act in every way, and they're a good football team. Shame somebody had to lose that one.
Yeah,
but I sure am glad that we came out on top, and we're going to try to get
a good
another one.
sportsmanship. I'm glad you brought that up because on both sides
Oh,
of
yeah.
the ball, it did go down the fourth quarter. They were there to win. You guys were there to win. There was a couple moments, but very few. All the guys, they just played good football. Would you
No,
agree?
it was a great football game, both sides. And, we've said 3 times it was a shame both teams had to lose this game. I said as soon as we started fourth quarter to my dad up in the press box, it's a shame that one team has to lose this game.
Well, you also lose. You've also lost one of the better teams in AA football.
Yes.
And I don't know how it all worked out, how it shook, how the bracket shook. But I tell you, Pace is a great football team. They deserve to be playing in the next round. And
They're one of the top 8 teams in the state.
There's no doubt about it.
100%.
And I hope that they, at some point, the people understand that.
Friday night, 7:30, Rebel Nation, you need to be there. Support these boys. Huge game. Thank you for Circle for hosting the show, and hopefully we'll see you here next week.
That's right.
Hey, folks, before we leave, just hang tight. After these commercials, Coach's going to take off, go home. Well, he's going back to work. We got to get him back to work, okay?
That's right.
He doesn't stop working till Friday night. But we're going to take a brief break, so don't go anywhere. And then Jake, Tim, and I, we're going to talk about some other high school matchups that are going on this Friday night. Break this game down a little more on playbook. You cool with that?
Sounds great.
Cool with that?
Y'all take it easy
All right.
on me now.
We will. But we need you out of here for that.
Yeah, I know.